Hello to everyone. This is Money, Motivation, and Mike, also known as MX3.VIP. So, we've released our Daytona 500 episode here as we come into February, and another big event. And a fellow said, hey, what about Bike Week, Mike? So, here we go with Daytona Beach Bike Week, which, by the way, also happens the same week as the Daytona 500. So you've got Bike Week, which is one of the biggest motorcycle rallies in the world. I would think probably, I don't know the numbers at Sturgis. We've never done a Sturgis show, by the way, Jason. But I would say that they're probably comparable. You've got Sturgis, then we've got this is the Bike Week, and where 500,000 people ride bikes rolling into Daytona for a week. A lot of leather, chrome, noise, whole lot of things, a lot of sitting around on bikes, checking out everybody else's bikes. Then again, with the Daytona 500. And they happen at the same time, the same city, the same week. It's like someone, maybe it was you, Jason. Did you look at the calendar and decide that we need two different crowds, set of two different motorcycles and NASCARs in the same city on the same week?
I think it's a good idea, to be honest.
I bet the Daytona merchants think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Probably the Daytona Chamber of Commerce, who, by the way, runs Bike Week.
I think the more attractions you have, the more people are going to be involved. So more opportunity.
Well, today we're going to get into this and we're going to break down what actually happens when Bike Week and Daytona 500 overlap. I'm sure it's chaos. I'm sure it's beautiful. I'm sure it's loud. Probably expensive chaos.
Yeah, for sure.
So, if you're not familiar, let me set the stage. Bike Week goes all the way back to 1937. Now, if you've been listening or watching our show, you know that the Daytona 500 started up in 1959. So, Bike Week, one of the oldest and biggest motorcycle rallies in the country, 500,000 people on Daytona Beach. They come from everywhere, the Harley guys, the Yamahas, the Kawasaki's, the choppers, the vintage, Indian bike. You ever heard of the Indian bike?
Oh, yeah.
It went away, but now you see Indian bike dealerships popping up. We're just talking about sports bikes.
Yeah.
And, I've never been to this particular week. Maybe next year, Jason, if we can get some sponsor to give us some money, we'll go out and we'll do the week. Money, Motivation, and Mike in Daytona, Florida. Sounds like a fabulous idea.
I like it. Let's do it.
Because I love motorcycles and I love racing.
And I'd love for sponsors to send money our way.
So here we are talking about all this stuff. The vibe is great, right? And I mean, this is the best way. Total freedom. You think the Daytona, I'm sure Daytona has a city police, but they for sure have a county police. You think they just shut down and go on vacation those 2 weeks?
No, I'm sure there's some overtime.
You don't think it's just total freedom, open roads?
I'm sure for them it's overtime, and everybody's
nobody sleeps, do they?
Yeah, everybody's got to be available.
The vibe here, the tailgating, the RVs, the corporate sponsors, the diehard NASCAR fans, because you got to think about it. So this Bike Week's going on, and they call it Bike Week. And we think about just the Daytona 500 on Sunday. But the qualifying starts, the Twin 125s are on Thursday. I mean, it is also race car week too.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of stuff that's going on down there. Take these two events and smash them together, right here in this same small confined area.
Yeah.
That's how it works. I've looked a couple of times at tickets to go down during this time of year to the Daytona 500. You can't even fly in
to
Daytona.
And hotels, I'm sure, pretty expensive during that time as well.
I bet there's a lot of people sleeping on the beach.
You think so? Tents and campers and such.
And when you factor in Orlando, down the street 60 miles, and the fact that that's where Walt Disney World is, etc., and Universal, when I looked, the best place to fly into was Jacksonville, Florida. Get a car and drive down. That was the best option.
What is that, about hour
and a half?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
To me, it makes sense if it saves a lot of money.
But it's coastline. So, you know, the most obvious issue they have there is transportation, traffic, and what I'm talking about right now with people flying in. Now, you would also think this, with Bike Week, wouldn't 80% of their people drive so they could haul their bikes behind them?
Maybe riding those hogs in.
How many people ride the motorcycle in? Get there, clean it all up, get the bugs off of it.
Yeah.
You know, on a normal day down there, Daytona Beach probably is manageable. But during Bike Week and Daytona 500, when the racing fan gets there, I think you can forget it. You got motorcycles everywhere. I mean, packs of bikes rolling down. Main Street is basically a motorcycle parking lot. Then you got the race fan trying to get to the speedway in their cars, trucks, RVs. I mean, city buses running, because you're trying to get to a venue when you go into that race. The bikes are everywhere. You're not trying to get to a particular place with the bikes. You're just, I don't know, walking down the main street, checking out the bikes and doing this, doing that, stopping, having food, having a drink, whatever else comes along with it. But everybody else is trying to get somewhere fast because they want to get over there to watch the fast cars going 190 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Something like that.
200 in a draft.
Yeah. So, you know, bikers and race fans move differently. And you think about that. How many times have you been in your car and the bike club is out riding and you fly by them? They're going to speed. They're enjoying.
Yeah.
You're hitting 80 miles an hour and you're going by them.
Hey, it's a leisurely drive for them.
Yep. They're not in a rush. They want to be seen. They're stopping. They're taking a break. They're hanging out. They're on a little bike cruise. Then you got the race fans. They're trying to get to the track as fast as they possibly can. So they've got their tickets. The race starts at a certain time. I mean, the bikes, there's no schedule. Life is good. You don't need a clock. But the schedule over here at NASCAR, to get there as fast as you can with all your beer before it gets warm, to watch these cars go as fast as they possibly can go with the governors on them.
Sounds like they're living life at 200 miles an hour.
But you know, you would think that that's why they used to call it 200 mile an hour duct tape, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Put it on the front.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you got one group treating it like this. You got another group treating it like that. Like two different video games merging.
Yeah, definite clash.
Yeah. Could you see the KISS pinball machine getting with the Evil Knievel pinball machine?
Hey, they're both kind of chaotic.
So if you're a local, good luck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You've heard people saying they don't ever leave their house for that week.
Yeah.
You need milk? Too bad. You need bread? Too bad. Yeah. It's kind of like the Texans when the snow blizzard comes, right? And the people in the southern Oklahoma area. We just go into convulsions.
Yeah. And it's probably most all stadiums, any place that events like this are held. I mean, if you live nearby, you probably are planning your to-do list around those days.
You probably come out of the Christmas holidays and go buy Bike Week groceries.
Yeah.
Unless you want to eat dry cereal.
Right.
The milkman may not be running that week, if you know what I mean. So, nevertheless, now you think, two totally different crowds, same space, same times, there's got to be tension. And I say this because let me stop that and go over here and back to Bike Week. The deaths that go on at Bike Week through rider accidents. In 2000, I've got the last 25 years here. In 2000, had 15 deaths at Bike Week. And remember, they don't go very fast. They're just putting along.
Yeah. But
2006, they had 20.
Is it inherent risk of just being on a bike? You're exposed?
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah. You got a lot of cars around you, and a lot of them aren't the best drivers.
I know bike riders. I know Harley riders. I know motorcycle racers.
Yeah.
And it's not if, it's when.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Give it long enough and something's going to happen.
You know, our motorcycle buddy up in southern Oklahoma, he says you're not a real motorcycle racer until you've been care flighted off the racetrack. And you're not a real Harley rider until you've laid it over on a highway.
Oh,
yes.
And have the scars to show for it.
Now, they have cut down in the last decade on the deaths. The highest has been 7, with last year only 5, and 3 of the last 6 years, only 3. So I believe we're becoming more cautious.
Or hopefully not the attendance dropping way down. Who's to say?
Well, guess what? There is no 2020 attendance. As I think we all know. I mean, there's 2 things that have stopped, Jason, in the last 100 years.
Yeah.
The war in the 40s and the pandemic in 2020 have stopped the world.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because you always have, well, just like here on I want to get to here in a minute, is the Daytona 200, which is the motorcycle race. No racing between 1943 and 1947, even though the race started in 1937. No racing. Got to go to war.
Yeah.
So we understand all that, but the groups really don't clash because they're there for some of the same reasons. Racing, loud noises, having a good time, a big old party, good food, good camaraderie. They're there for a lot of the same reasons. And you would think it is a different crowd. And another example of that, 20 years ago, I went to a concert. The opening act, I won't call it the warm-up act. The opening act was Motley Crue. The closer was Aerosmith. It's like when Motley Crue got through, that crowd left. And then the Aerosmith crowd came in. It was really intriguing.
2 different type of people. Is that right?
Yes. So you talked about money. I talked about how the retailer in Daytona would be very happy with what's going on down there because someone is making an absolute killing this week. And I would say most of them that are regulars down there. I mean, a normal $89 a night hotel room suddenly goes for $400.
Yeah.
And I understand that. The hotel industry is huge at supply and demand.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess the world is about supply and demand. You don't have very many heads of lettuce goes up. You got an abundance, lettuce goes down. So I guess when you have no one in your hotel, you'll charge $89. When everybody in the world wants to get into your hotel, I guess you charge $400.
Well, that's what everybody else is charging.
Yeah, it is.
And for $89, you're probably not getting that intercontinental breakfast. And with $400, I better.
I don't even know if you get towels for $400. You have to bring your own. You may not even get running water for $400. Actually, $400 a night sounds pretty cheap.
Yeah, for $400 a night, somebody would be knocking on my door asking me if I need anything.
And I'd bet by March, those hotels are sold out for next year.
Yeah, probably so.
I mean, you got, yeah. Here's your big money earner, the tow truck companies.
I've seen this happen.
Between the bikes breaking down, bikes being illegal parked, RVs getting stuck, the parking violations, I mean, the working overtime.
And can you imagine if it rains?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where
and
tow trucks really needed when that happens.
In Central Florida, It always rains right after lunch.
Yeah.
It may only rain for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But those clouds and that weather come off that ocean.
Yep.
And Daytona Beach is right up against it. Food trucks, I bet they do well.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Hey, one tidbit I was asking about, I talked about a while ago. So law enforcement during Bike Week is provided by the Daytona Beach Police Department and the county's sheriff's office. So they're both involved.
Yeah, I figured there was some coordination. I wouldn't be surprised if they brought other additional people in.
Yeah, they probably should bring in the National Guard. They did not, when I did my research, I could not find an estimate other than just that 1 week pumps hundreds of millions of dollars into the local economy. And that one 7 to 10 day experience clears these people for the whole year, these retails. That doesn't include spring break and then your summer.
Yeah.
Maybe we did take the show to Daytona Beach permanently, Jason.
Why not?
It's a massive deal down there at Daytona Beach.
Yeah. We'll bring our sunscreen.
Yeah. I mean, you got the, if not the biggest event of bikes, and then of course the Super Bowl of racing, the Daytona 500. So why does this work? Why do people keep coming back? Why have they been doing this since 1937 and then doubling down in 1959 with the start of Bike Week and then with the start of the 500? Because it is fun. It's a spectacle. You're not going to experience something like this anywhere else. I mean, where else can you watch a Daytona 500 in the afternoon and cruise down Main Street on your bike right afterwards?
Yeah.
And run into thousands of other people doing the same thing? Where else can you get a combination of speed, noise, and you think about this, the smell of gasoline? You know, one of my favorite times of the race is when they really crank it up coming out of 4.
Yeah.
And they are burning, there used to be that Union 76 down the front stretch.
Yeah. I think it's Sunoco now.
Yeah, that's right. But I can still see the Union 76 orange ball.
Oh, yeah.
You know, over in the corner 4.
Yeah.
At every racetrack.
Yep.
And then that thins out as the race goes. But I mean, they're burning some fluid coming down the front stretch, getting those things ramped up to speed.
Yeah, that first whiff of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Good times.
It is very, very good times. So, hey, everybody and everything's cool. You know, the facts of these two events, they respect each other. They coexist. Everybody gets along. Everybody's having a good time. Obviously, some kind of fatalities do happen. But as I've already said, the numbers have came down greatly. And frankly, Jason, I think it's more about being more cautious than it is attendance. You said maybe it's because of the attendance, where the law of averages always take over. You got 100,000 people and one dies. You got 500,000, 5 are going to die. But I think it's more, I want to say it's more responsibility than it is lack of attendance. I'll say that. That's where we're going to go. We're going to stop that right there on that positive note.
Yeah, that's very optimistic of you.
You don't think, you think that's optimistic, huh?
It may be.
Okay. A couple other things on this bike week before we call it a day on this particular section of Money, Motivation, and Mike. The Daytona 200. Once again, this race started up with Bike Week, and it was ran on the beaches starting in 1937. It started out just like the Daytona 500. Of course, it started before the Daytona 500, 22 years, but running on the sand, coming in, getting on the concrete, asphalt, whatever it was, and going down. The Daytona 200 actually started in 1932 at the Southeastern Motorcycle Dealers Association 200-mile dirt track and called the Vanderbilt Cup in Savannah, Georgia. And they piggybacked off of Bike Week and moved it to Daytona in 1937 to to go right along with what was going on with the bikes. The Daytona 200, the big fast motorcycles, where they basically lay them over.
Mm-hmm.
I always call it John Roberts because I was a Yamaha guy growing up, and he ran for Yamaha. And they lay them things over on the side, and you just wonder, how do they not slide out from under them?
Yeah.
Those tires have got to have some serious grip.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, most wins by manufacturer at the Daytona 200, Yamaha. 26 manufacturer wins. How about that?
Yeah. And those are fun to watch, too.
They are very fun to watch. Now, not really familiar with this fella, racer Josh Herrin. He's the 3-time defending champion. He won it in 23, 24, and 25. He's a United States guy. Riding a manufactured bike called Ducati.
Yeah.
I never heard of that bike. Well, they've got 3 victories under their belt in the last 3 years. So they actually have 4 victories. He has 3 of them. I told you Yamaha has the most victories, and their last victory was in 2021. What manufacturer do you think has the second most victories at the Daytona 200?
Oh, man. Trying to think of the other brands, but there's Honda, right?
Honda is third.
Okay, so I wasn't too far off.
Honda is third with 11.
Kawasaki
is fifth. They're actually tied for fifth with 4 others.
Okay.
Suzuki,
Yeah.
Triumph.
Yep.
And Norton.
I don't know Norton at all.
Norton is a Norwegian bike.
Okay.
Norton's last victory was in 1952. That's why you don't know him.
Okay. Gotcha.
Honda's last victory was in 2006. Kawasaki with 5 was 2008.
Okay.
The second most manufacturer wins is Harley Davidson. Now,
I don't really think about Harley Davidson being in that particular type of race.
Well, let me tell you why you don't.
Yeah.
Their last victory was 1969.
Ah, okay.
And they had won 16. They had 16 victories.
Yeah.
Basically from 1937 to 1969, that's 32 years minus like 4 years for war. You're down to 28, and they'd won 16 of them.
Yeah. When you think Harley Davidson, you think about those hogs riding down
Absolutely.
the highway.
Making obscene, loud noises.
Yeah.
Your handlebars above your forehead just does not look comfortable to me at all.
Yeah.
But they do it. They do it, and they do it. Now, one other race that I have got to mention before we get off here is the 24 Hours of Daytona. And by the way, now both races, the 24 Hours of Daytona. By the way, Jason, guess how many hours and how long that race is?
Would it be 24?
24 hours.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
Okay.
Most teams have 4 drivers.
That was a tough one.
When I was ignorant and didn't know how this worked, I was wondering how a guy could drive a race car for 24 hours. Then I realized, or was brought up to speed on the fact that they have 4 drivers that go in sections.
Yeah.
Some drive 2 hours, some drive 3 hours. So you're fixing to get you 6 to 9 hours of sleep to your next session, depending on what it is. And how maybe they drive 3 hours early and then go to 2 hours after that, because that's all they can do. So who knows? Now, what's interesting about the 24 Hours of Daytona is those manufacturers. Now, we just went over motorcycles. Here's your manufacturers. Porsche, Cadillac. Cadillac has a car.
Mm-hmm.
Aston Martin, BMW. There was no BMWs listed on the Daytona 200 motorcycle race.
And I believe they do.
They do.
They do
Absolutely.
race in it, right?
They do. They don't have at least a victory. It's not listed. And the other big one is Acura. That's your major manufacturers. And the GTP 24 Hours of Daytona, which is another one of those top 10 races of all time in the world.
Yeah.
Now, the big one, 24 Hours of Le Mans, like I've talked about before.
Right.
But some of these guys, the Dale Earnhardts, the AJ Foyts, Paul Newman, those kind of guys have raced in this 24 Hours of Daytona before. And there's usually an Indy team and a NASCAR team that go out there and do it, because that race happens the start of bike week, like the weekend before. And then they get it on from there. So nevertheless, that's a little bit about bike week, which is coming up here in just the next week or two in the Daytona Beach area. And any of our viewers or listeners that are down there that want to fly Jason and I out there for free and put us up in one of those $89 hotels for free, all you got to do is email me at info@mx3.vip and find all of our content at mx3.vip or on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@MX3 Podcast. Let's go down into the comment section and give us some comments back on exactly what is your favorite part from what you've heard today, or the research that you've done, or maybe you've even visited Bike Week. And I love these type of things, as we've talked about, and you and I, coming from a racing family background, never been anywhere close to Bike Week or the Daytona 500. Everyone who's been a part of this show, continue to live your life the right way.